Hi, welcome Stoic Lab. 10 daily habits that make you dangerously attractive. Stoicism Lab. The power of quiet presence. Most people spend their lives chasing attention. They want to be noticed. They want to be admired. They want others to approve of them. But the Stoics understood something different. The most attractive people in the world are rarely the loudest. They do not constantly prove themselves. They do not desperately seek validation. They do not enter every room trying to impress everyone they meet. Instead, they possess something far more powerful: presence. A calm, grounded, unshakable presence. Think about the people you remember most. Often, it is not because they talked the most. It is because they carried themselves with quiet confidence. Their energy felt different. Their movements were deliberate. Their words carried weight because they were not wasted. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a person's worth is measured by the things to which they devote their attention. The Stoic man understands this deeply. He does not scatter his energy trying to win every argument or gain every person's approval. He protects his attention because he knows it is one of the most valuable resources he possesses.
This daily habit begins with silence. Not the silence of weakness, the silence of strength. Before speaking, pause. Before reacting, think. Before defending yourself, ask whether a defense is even necessary. Most people reveal insecurity through constant explanation. They feel compelled to justify every decision and every action. But a man with inner certainty does not need to explain himself to everyone. His confidence comes from character, not applause. This creates what the ancient Stoics admired most: sculpted grace. A calm dignity that remains intact under pressure. A quiet power that does not need to announce itself. When you learn to sit comfortably with yourself, something remarkable happens. People begin to feel your presence before they hear your words. Your calm becomes contagious. Your self-control becomes noticeable. Your silence begins to speak louder than noise ever could. And that is where true attraction begins. Not in appearance, not in status, but in the rare ability to remain composed in a world addicted to attention. The first habit is simple. Practice quiet presence every day. Because the strongest man in the room is often the one who has mastered himself.
Control your reactions. Most people believe power comes from controlling situations. The Stoics taught that true power comes from controlling yourself. Every day, life presents small tests. Someone criticizes you. A stranger disrespects you. A plan fails. An opportunity disappears. Most people react immediately. They become angry, defensive, emotional, and impulsive. But the Stoic man understands a profound truth. Your reaction is your responsibility. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events themselves, but by our judgments about them. This means that between what happens and how you respond, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. Dangerously attractive people live in that space. When others lose their temper, they remain calm. When others panic, they stay composed. When others seek revenge, they choose wisdom. This does not mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming disciplined. The man who controls his reactions possesses something rare in today's world: emotional mastery. People trust him because he is predictable in character. They respect him because he is not controlled by every emotion that passes through his mind. Imagine two men facing the same insult. One explodes with anger. The other remains calm.
Stop seeking approval. One of the fastest ways to weaken your presence is to need everyone to like you. Many people spend their entire lives trapped in this invisible prison. They change their opinions to fit in. They hide their true thoughts. They sacrifice their values to avoid criticism. The Stoics considered this a dangerous mistake. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself repeatedly that the opinions of others are beyond our control. Yet countless people surrender their peace trying to manage exactly that. The truth is simple. You cannot become extraordinary while seeking universal approval. Someone will always disagree with you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. The Stoic accepts this reality and continues forward anyway. This creates a powerful kind of freedom. When you no longer depend on external validation, your confidence becomes internal. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop chasing acceptance. And paradoxically, this makes people respect you more. Why? Because authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn toward individuals who know who they are, not because they are perfect, but because they are genuine. Seneca warned that the crowd often pulls people away from wisdom. The Stoic man therefore develops the courage to stand alone when necessary. He does not follow every trend. He does not compromise his principles for popularity. His identity is built upon values, not applause. This is where sculpted grace becomes visible once again.
Speak less, say more. One of the most overlooked habits of highly attractive people is not what they say. It is what they choose not to say. Modern life rewards constant talking. Everyone wants to share opinions, prove intelligence, and fill every moment of silence. But the Stoics understood that words lose value when they are used carelessly. A man who speaks endlessly often reveals insecurity. A man who speaks deliberately reveals strength. Marcus Aurelius observed that dignity comes from saying only what is necessary and useful. This principle transforms the way others experience you. When you speak less, people listen more. When you choose your words carefully, those words carry weight. When you avoid gossip, complaints, and unnecessary arguments, your presence becomes calmer and more powerful. Think about the wisest people you have met. They rarely dominate conversations. They listen. They observe. And when they finally speak, everyone pays attention. Why? Because silence has created value around their words. The Stoic man understands that every sentence should serve a purpose. He does not talk simply to be heard. He speaks to contribute. This habit requires discipline. There will be moments when you want to defend yourself, interrupt someone, or prove that you are right. Pause. Ask yourself whether speaking will improve the situation. Often, the strongest response is restraint. This is not weakness. This is self-mastery. There is a form of sculpted grace in measured speech. It reflects a mind that is organized, disciplined, and calm. People naturally trust individuals who speak with clarity rather than noise.
Master the art of listening. Most people do not listen. They wait for their turn to speak. While another person is talking, they are already preparing responses, forming opinions, or thinking about themselves. The Stoics saw this as a missed opportunity. Epictetus reminded his students that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listening is not passive. It is a skill, a discipline, a form of respect. And surprisingly, it is one of the most attractive habits a person can develop. When someone feels genuinely heard, they remember it. In a world full of distractions, true attention has become rare. The Stoic man gives people something most never receive: his complete presence. When he listens, he is not searching for ways to impress. He is seeking understanding. This changes everything. People become more open around him. Conversations become deeper. Relationships become stronger. And trust grows naturally. The attractive power of listening comes from humility. It shows that you are secure enough not to make every interaction about yourself. Many people believe attraction comes from being interesting. The Stoics would argue that attraction often comes from being interested. Interested in understanding. Interested in learning. Interested in seeing beyond the surface. This habit also develops wisdom. Every person you meet knows something you do.
Embrace voluntary discomfort. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort. The Stoics did the opposite. They intentionally practiced small forms of discomfort to strengthen their minds and prepare themselves for life's challenges. Why? Because comfort can make a person dependent, while controlled discomfort creates resilience. Seneca occasionally slept on hard surfaces, wore simple clothing, and lived with less than he could afford. Not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he wanted to prove to himself that his happiness did not depend on luxury. This habit remains powerful today. Take the cold shower. Wake up earlier than necessary. Exercise when you do not feel motivated. Choose discipline when comfort calls your name. Every time you voluntarily do something difficult, you send a message to yourself. I am stronger than my excuses. That message builds confidence no achievement can replace. People are naturally drawn to individuals who remain steady during hardship. That steadiness is earned through practice. There is a quiet, sculpted grace in a person who does not crumble when life becomes uncomfortable. The more you train yourself to face discomfort willingly, the less. Become impossible to offend. One of the greatest forms of freedom is no longer being controlled by the opinions of others. Most people hand strangers enormous power over their emotions. A single criticism ruins their day. A negative comment destroys their confidence. The Stoics refuse to live this way. Epictetus taught that insults only hurt when we agree with them. If someone calls you weak and it is untrue, why be disturbed? And if it is true, why not improve yourself instead of becoming angry? The Stoic man understands that offense is often a choice. He does not react to every attack. He does not carry every insult. He evaluates, learns, and moves forward. This creates an extraordinary sense of inner peace. People notice when someone remains calm under criticism. They see maturity. They see strength. They see emotional control. That is where sculpted grace becomes visible. Not in victory, not in praise, but in the ability to remain composed when challenged. Practice this daily. When criticism arrives, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is there something useful here? If yes, learn from it. If not, let it pass. The opinions of others should not determine your worth. When you become difficult to offend, you become difficult to control. And a person who cannot be easily controlled possesses a quiet power that others immediately respect.
Keep your promises to yourself. Many people break promises to themselves every day. They say they will wake up early, but they don't. They promise to exercise, learn, or improve, but they delay until tomorrow. Over time, this creates a hidden problem: self-doubt. The Stoics believed that character is built through consistent action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen self-respect. You prove that your word means something. The attractive person is not the one who talks about discipline. It is the one who practices it quietly. There is sculpted grace in reliability. When your actions match your words, confidence grows naturally. Trust yourself. Keep your commitments. Small victories repeated daily become an unshakable foundation of character. The strongest relationship you will ever have is the one you build with yourself. Live with purpose, not distraction. Modern life is filled with distractions. Endless scrolling, endless entertainment,
endless noise. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that time is limited. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the shortness of life, using that awareness to focus on what truly mattered. A purposeful person moves differently. They know where their energy is going. They choose meaningful goals over temporary pleasures. This does not mean never relaxing. It means refusing to waste your life unconsciously. People are naturally attracted to those who have direction. Purpose creates focus. Focus creates confidence. Confidence creates presence. There is a powerful sculpted grace in someone who knows what they stand for and where they are going. Each morning, ask yourself, what deserves my attention today? Then give your best energy to that answer. A meaningful life is not built by accident. It is built through daily intention.
Become your own source of peace. The final Stoic habit may be the most important of all. Learn to find peace within yourself. Most people spend their lives chasing external things, believing that the next achievement, the next relationship, or the next possession will finally make them feel complete. But the Stoics understood that lasting peace cannot come from what is outside of you. It must come from within. When your happiness depends on circumstances, you become fragile. When it depends on your character, you become strong. The dangerously attractive person is not attractive because life is perfect. They are attractive because they remain grounded when life is imperfect. They carry calm into chaos, wisdom into confusion, strength into difficulty. This is the highest form of sculpted grace. A quiet confidence that does not need attention. A deep peace that does not need validation. A powerful presence that comes from mastering oneself. Remember, true attraction is not about appearance, status, or popularity. It is about character. It is about integrity. It is about becoming the kind of person whose presence makes others feel stronger, calmer,